Hey now. Hey now.
Hey, Nelson Rodriguez. We are taking our time. Apologies. Good morning. I better wake up. You know, it's 5:11 a.m. here this morning. It's Johnny. Morning, Johnny. How you doing? Hope we had a good show.
Awesome.
Must be catching it later. You and Jay.
Yeah. I was watching bits and pieces of it. He had.
Oh, did he have
the Chad on there?
The Chad. Oh, right. Did he?
The Chad. Chad.
He's been on before. The Chad. So he got a massive record collection, a massive guitar collection.
Chad's been on a few times.
Oh, cool.
Hey now. Hey, we're streaming on the YouTube channel, guys, and we're also streaming on the All Things Eric Clapton British Electric Blues Facebook show. So thank you for joining us. And if you are going to be watching a replay of this and you guys have not already done this, you need to do this, please. You need to do this thing here. You need to subscribe to the channel.
It's not big enough or red enough. Just
and
Tony.
like some of the videos. That's always a good thing. In fact, it's probably a good time for us now to sort of show something here. So one of the great things about social media, Simon, is you meet people from all around the world and they pass on information to you. And a couple of days ago, I met this French guy, and his name will come to me. I'm sorry. I had it in my mind. I've got it's in my notes, so I will come back and make reference to him. But he shared a video with me that came from a French blues documentary.
That
and
film
I put it on
Peter Green and
Danny Cohen.
Danny Cohen. Yeah.
And I put it on the channel. And just hold on, guys. If I go here and share screen, just give me a second and go to the application window. Let's see if I can find something here. Hold on. Can you see share? So if you can see that somewhere on there, this video here.
Yeah. All right.
Has had over 1,000 views on our channel. It's the most viewed video on our channel.
Morning, DTube. How you doing?
And there's Danny, obviously.
Yep. It's amazing, yeah. You put some sound on it, Andrew. Has it got sound? It's got sound.
It's not playing any sound. Okay, so sorry. So the point that I want to make, guys, is that's got 1,123 views, Simon. That's by far the closest other video on our channel is one where I'm talking about an Eric Clapton book, which is about 900 views. Me talking about my 351 with a crack in it's got about 700. But all our other videos views, Simon, are about 100 to 400, which is, given the size of our subscribers, is commendable.
Not bad.
Not
completely.
bad. Yeah. So just interesting how the topic that we talk about, electric British blues, does have
an audience.
An audience. Yeah.
Yep. As ever, it's finding the right content, isn't it? Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, it's
But
I mean, you know, it's the 50. The Layla thing got 200 so far. Got 278 views. Yes. Yeah.
hey, D-Tube. Yeah. So it's pretty pleasing to see that, and we're getting some nice comments in there from a lot of people too. So that historic aspect's always going to be interesting, and I like that. But anyway, the reason why Simon and I are jumping on and we're going to spend an hour with you guys today is you might be aware, if you are regulars to the channel, you might be aware.
Can we talk before we start? Can we talk about Hilton Valentine? Shall we talk about him just for a minute?
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
Oh no, because Andrew hadn't noticed this. I noticed this a couple of days ago. That a man called Hilton Valentine, who you may not know his name, but you'll know what he played. All right, he was the guitar player in The Animals, the British R&B group The Animals, and that arpeggiated beginning to House of the Rising Sun that I bet you all know, and I bet you've all played. That's played by Hilton Valentine. and interestingly, what's the one thing we know about Hilton Valentine? His real name was Hilton Valentine. He didn't have to make it up. No stage name. It's not a nom de plume. No. And
no Gary Glitter.
He's not. It's not the first name that springs to my mind when I think of nom de plumes.
Elton John.
Indeed, Elton John. That's much. Yeah, Sting. clearly not his real name.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's sad, and rest in peace. Rest in peace.
So amazing, and one of the inspired by the skiffle craze of the 50s. My theory. Pinning.
Oh yeah, you're bound to be.
Yeah.
Bound to be.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So 77 years old, and he was living in Connecticut. But so sad day for Mr. Hilton Valentine. But we remember,
awesome.
House of the Rising Sun, and that's him. And what better memorial, really, isn't it? Than a really cool piece of Johnny Bean. Is really Johnny? Is that your stage name? Is it? Do you think? You see, now we're in it, John. It's like, would you choose a name like Johnny Bean as a stage name? Nobody knows.
Awesome.
Yeah, fantastic. Anyway, so carry on. I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, well, rest in peace. Rest in peace, Mr. Valentine.
Mr. Hilton Valentine.
The reason why Simon and I are going to spend an hour with you guys today is we've always liked to take opportunities when we can to talk about gear, and we probably should, and we probably will with having Brad as a co-host for future shows. But I was particularly interested in jumping on and sharing some thoughts because I was talking to Simon on Facebook Messenger about this guitar here that I picked up about a week ago. And I was sure that Simon and I were talking about Gibson and Epiphone about a year ago. I think I remember making a comment about how Fender was well served by Squier, and how the Squier guitars come out of the box very, very good, set up well. I've had a couple of them, the classic vibes anyway, especially Simon, and how my Casino, which is a Epiphone, came out of the box not quite towards that standard that the classic vibes had. And I think you said we would be well served with Gibson doing well and getting that Epiphone brand up and running. Am I making that up?
No. I think amongst other people, I don't think I'm alone in this. the great seer into the future. No, but yeah, that was my feeling about it was that that Epiphone, they would, especially with the takeover by the new people, variable though that has been, that one of the things they wanted to do was to get, the Epiphone brand and kind of rebrand it, reorganize it, reposition it, and as a bit more its own thing, and not just cheap Gibsons, not quite Gibsons, if you know what I mean. That I think they've been going for in the past. And one of the interesting things to me is that you will quite often see in the Tone King's chats, he's been in Johnny's chats as well, is a man called Aljon Go. He appear in all sorts of YouTube, like if you go on a live stream, he's quite likely to appear. And he's the man who runs Epiphone. And he clearly understands. I don't know whether Johnny's met him at NAM, but I've seen him a few times. He's been on Tone King stuff, and he seems very impressive about going. This is the Epiphone brand. This is what I mean. You get Steve from Boston as well. There, you'll often appear in Steve from Boston's thing, and he's very clear about this is the Epiphone brand, and clearly he's been in charge of what you've got in your hand. He's also been in charge of that, the change in the headstock back, so it's the proper headstock, and the things that people want. And he's understood because he's been out in the community, our community, in those chats, saying, seeing what people say, paying attention, to what we, the guitar players, let's face it. Yeah, you see, Johnny says he hasn't met, but he wants to come on Johnny's show and talk about Kramer. See, that says to me that he understands the power of social media and about what people like Johnny are doing, and the reach that they have in terms of an audience, and and that rebranding, that repositioning of Epiphone, I think in the last year has gone really well. And what you've picked up is clearly they focused on quality, making things properly, quality, and just fixing the things that people didn't like. It's we're all guitar players, aren't we? We're quite conservative by nature, and as Gibson have found out to their cost, haven't they? They start faffing about with too much modern stuff, and people don't like it. People don't like it at all. And doesn't matter if it's going to work. Like the robot tuners and stuff, which I've never used, so I don't know what they're like. I've seen a couple of people said they were fine. Actually they work really well. But you're not going to put electro tuners on a Gibson, are you? Because it's just not with the brand thing.
Yeah.
I think clearly he understands. He's spent a lot, and what you're picking up, what you've picked up there, that really nice Epiphone Firebird. Good morning, Sonia, and good morning, Charlie S. Hope you're both well, Sonia. I hope you're good.
I take my hat off to Epiphone. I think what they've done is very smart and very clever. This guitar here, for example, it's got the tilt neck. It's not the bolt-on that the previous models that they had. The pickups are based on, and the pickups are based on burst buckers. It's got Grover tuners. The neck, all this guitar needed when I got it out of the box was obviously to polish the frets, which is pretty standard for a lot of middle and cheaper guitars, and adjust the height of the pickups and just drop the bridge. But after playing this for about a week and a half, I just if Mr. Epiphone and the folks from Gibson ever stumble across this video, I think what you guys have done with this range here and the 3 or 4 other inspired by Gibsons that I've seen at my local guitar shop, I've got to tell you, Simon, the quality. If you ever get a chance, Simon, to check out some of those 20 inspired guitars when you guys are allowed to travel, please do. I'll be impressed to I'd be amazed to hear your impressions if you ever check them out. But very smart, very clever on Gibson, because when you get the young or the inexperienced guitar players in buying that Epiphone brand, you've got them. Very smart.
Yeah, but you could tell, can't you? You could tell, as you say, they've done quite a lot of the basic things right. So they made it a neck through, which is the proper
Yep.
thing. So you've got the Grover tuners, you've got the binding down the neck and all that. They haven't. Hi, Sonia. That's good to see you. That clearly they've spent. They've specced it properly. And they've. And what comes out, and you go when you bring out the watch. Obviously needs a bit of adjustment for the way how you want it to play. Well, that's fair enough. But there's no flaws in it. There's no dings in it. The fret ends are done properly, and it's really good. Get out, plug it in. It's got proper pickups in it. It's got all the things that you would want for a guitar. In the UK, they cost about £550. That one, the Epiphone Firebird.
So that's $1,100 here in New Zealand. So
it's about right.
So that's that's not a cheap guitar. When you consider, Simon, the classic vibes. Now, this is another little thing that I mentioned when I went live the other day. So if you just bear with me for a second. One of the reasons why I got the 2020, Simon, after playing it, was I was convinced that the quality could go down, and I hope that Epiphone don't do it, because I've seen it, Simon, with the classic vibe guitars. So the classic vibe Stratocaster that I've got, which is over there, that one there, that's a 2008, and I bought that in 2011, and I've compared that slowly over the years to the made in Indonesia Squires, and I have to tell you, Simon, there is a big difference in the quality, in the sound, in the build quality, in the components, but they're still selling the guitar for the same price. So there's no comparison.
That's interesting. Yeah. You're right. I mean, you're right. It is all about that, isn't it? It's all about that price point and what you get for that money and things. That I think is a really difficult thing to balance. It's a really difficult balancing act, isn't it? Because we all want slightly better components and slightly, than maybe you can get. So you're always compromising on those bits around the edge, the peripherals, the tuners possibly a little bit cheaper, maybe the bridge is a little bit cheaper or whatever it is, and maybe the pickups are a little bit less. And I agree with you. You've got to watch it. I think they have to, also. I think Fender and Gibson particularly have a bit of a problem, don't they? In that, I noticed particularly that actually, every year they've got to find a way of rebranding the Stratocaster without rebranding the Stratocaster, if you know what I mean. And clearly, you have the same trouble with the Les Paul, don't you? It's like a Les Paul. It's like what are you going to do? In essence, to fiddle with it is a disaster. People don't like that. So what do? You might bring out a few colours or something, or a few special runs, but actually, it's just the same guitar, isn't it? I mean,
Yep.
I always makes me smile a bit with Fender. I'm a Fender guy. I've got 3 Fenders in my 5 guitars, 3 Fender, 2 Strats and a Telly. And I think to myself, you go from the American to the professional to the, I'll clear the same guitar, with very minor tweaks to them. That's the trouble, isn't it? You've got to kind of every year you've got to freshen up the brand whilst not freshening it up.
I look, I think one of the great things though about these guitar brands too, and what they put on the market, is they give you a lot of opportunities to make any changes. You can upgrade them or make models, pickups changes, or you can swap over tuners, and that's what I did to this one here. So this one here, again, another Epiphone. Now this one here was half the price of the Firebird, half the price.
Right, so fine. New?
Yeah, new, half the price.
Okay, yeah.
Changed the pickups to tone riders, and I changed the switch from the Epiphone switch, which wasn't very good, to the to a Switchcraft, and basically that's it. And again, plays well, got the nice D taper profile, but what I want to talk to you about, Simon, and everyone else here in the chat, I'm not a guitar snob, even though I've got a Gibson and a couple of Fenders, and I mean this sincerely. If you're a beginner player at whatever age, Simon, I'm convinced of it. You do not need to spend a fortune. You can get a very, very good guitar, and don't fall into the trap. Don't fall into the trap thinking that you need a Gibson or you need a Fender.
No, that's true. I think absolutely there are lots of other really cool brands, and I think now is there's in many ways there's never been a better time to learn to play the guitar. You
Yep.
can get. I mean, I've talked about on my here on my first guitar, which is something called a Jedson, which frankly you'd have been better off playing cricket with rather than you were trying to play the guitar. I mean, wouldn't ever tune because the tuners were rubbish. This is the early 70s, early 70s, yeah. And it was just a rubbish guitar, and it had terrible components. And of course, I'd never heard of setups and things like that. So maybe it was, but it was terrible as a guitar, at least, and today there is no comparison between what that guitar was and what the guitars I have now. Even my cheap Chapman guitar, I got my black one, with the Sur pickups. Give myself some side, don't I? As an idiot. But that in terms of its playing ability, it's great. You can gig with it. You can do it. It's fine. There's the thing about you. I mean, I'm not one of these. One of the things I've discovered about myself. Good morning, Robot Master Switch. How you doing? Hope you're good. That one of the things is I don't really care about different neck profiles, different things. I can play any guitar. It's like it's just a thing. Just get on with it and play it. I'm in that. I'm not somebody like who has to have the right kind of neck and stuff. I don't mind different necks as long as it feels comfortable to play. Within a minute, I've forgotten because I'm old and stupid. I forgot what the other one felt like, so I'm good. But I think you're right. I think that Chapman was £200 and perfectly serviceable, and with what it came with. I just wanted to muck about with it a bit, really. So, but it was I've played it at gigs. It's a fine guitar to play. I just got it set up. I think that setup is important. Sonia was talking earlier. She's getting a guitar. She was going to get one plecked. I would say, Sonia, about that. I would say that take it to a good local luthier, actually, and that's as good as plecking it. The plecking makes sure the frets also. But I don't know if it's worth quite a lot. They're quite a lot of money to have things plecked, aren't they?
I wouldn't, Sonia. But don't listen to anything I say. But I wouldn't. I just want to echo what Simon said, and I think most people in the chat, get a good luthier, someone who knows what to do, someone that can set up the guitar. If you can't do it, or you don't have the ability, or indeed you don't want to, to make sure that neck is there. And they're going to do a good job, because the money you can save, throw it at some gear.
Yeah. See, this guitar, which I bought for £300 or something. It's a Japanese Strat. I just took this. I have a really good local proper luthier, guitar maker in Bristol, called Johnny Kincaid.
Hey Rick.
The guys from hi Rick, how you doing? The guys from That Pedal Show are having guitar. Dan is having guitar made by him, acoustic guitar. But he does I just took this guitar and got him to set it up, and it's fantastic. I don't think I wouldn't notice if you spend £300 having it plecked. I wouldn't notice the difference. It's really, really beautiful. The neck and the frets are all fantastically, just did a really good job on it, making it really, really playable, properly playable. And it, which I think is fantastic. Hold on.
So D-Tube's saying here that he brought a Stratocaster from Sweetwater. It's a Mexican vintage 50s Ventura. Had it plecked, and they put on a new set and sent it to him overnight, brand new, $1,000. Wow.
Wow, see? Oh, there we are. Well, so maybe it is worth it, D-Tube. Well done. You see, disproving error, which is quite right. But, so I don't know, and that would be my view of it, Sonia. But I'm a bit old school. But I know what you mean. Who's he? Rhett Scholl did a he got a guitar plecked. So I don't know whether you've seen that. I think before I did it, I'd probably look at that to Sonia and see. I can't remember what his conclusion was now. But yeah, he certainly did a video where he had a guitar plecked specifically, and which is cool. You know, it's a good idea. But the other thing I picked up on was go on.
That's an interesting little thing here that D-Tube has brought to my attention. So I have to agree with you. The nut. So these new Epiphones have come out with what they call new bone nuts, and they do make a difference because my Epiphone has a plastic nut. My Casino came standard with a plastic nut, and I got my luthier to put a bone nut in it, Simon. And I have to tell you, the bone nut from that plastic nut makes a big difference.
Yeah.
The vintage guitar that I have, which is, I think we've done a show on this, Simon. I think we've done a show on... So the vintage guitar there, that comes standard with the new bone nut. But just making those little subtle changes, Simon, you don't need to do a lot to make that sound, to give you that extra 5-10% difference in sound. But I'm not a fan of plastic nuts. I'm not a fan of them.
No, me neither. But I think you're right that those are the things that because they make tuning stability. Borrow these teeth from a horse. Tuning stability much better, and absolutely, Robert must say. When I have 10 minutes, I'd like to do that stuff, but as yet I haven't quite managed to get there. But I think I'll save myself some money. But I pay somebody else. Cheerful. So there we are, $250.
So that's $500 New Zealand. That's $600 to pleck and put a bone nut. Whoa, that's a bit of money.
Yeah. So that's about what's that? 150 quid here, something like that. 150 pounds. It's probably not because it's not $2 to the pound to your dollar, is it, Andrew? $2 American dollars to the New Zealand dollar? No.
Maybe $500.
Pound.
Maybe $500 because okay, that's still from look well look Sonia, I don't know, but all I'm saying and the subject of this video was that if you're serious about wanting to play guitar and you might be on a budget or you don't want to spend a lot of money getting a Gibson or a Fender Strat, there are some good alternatives out there, and I'm convinced that the Epiphone range that I've played and I've seen over the last 6 months, those Epiphone Les Pauls, and I've played a few of them, and I'll be interested to see what people say in the chat. They're very good. A couple of years ago, Simon, the Epiphone Les Pauls didn't have a very good reputation here. No.
Well, they didn't. They just were a bit. As I said earlier, they had to address those issues. One, the nut and things, and the quality was a bit meh. And they didn't. They corrected things. They made a proper headstock for it and stuff like that. Paid attention to Epiphone's heritage and made a proper headstock, for instance, and stuff like that. And clearly that's what people like. And just as ever with these things, and it's the reason why PRS makes such a success of guitars built in the middle, the Far East, is because every one of those guitars goes to Maryland, gets taken out of its box, checked, and before it's sent out, which means that you catch, the majority of the rubbish. So you're only sending out good stuff, which I think is important. By the way, your 139 New Zealand dollars to US dollars. So in effect, that pleck is about 350 New Zealand dollars.
still a lot of money.
Oh, no, still a lot.
And
Yeah, absolutely.
and I'm not convinced that a plec would be something that I would benefit from. And you know, I look, I don't know, but I understand though, because we're all different, and I know this through meeting guitar players over the last 15, 20 years. If it gives you peace of mind that that you are like I remember I fiddled around with a friend's guitar neck about 18 months ago and got it dead straight. And I know for a fact he took it to the luthier after me, and guess who the luthier was? My friend Keith McMillan, and he didn't make any adjustments to it.
No, didn't need to. Yeah.
But he wanted that peace of mind because Andrew's not a luthier.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
I think
hey,
interesting. There's a couple of Hack, how you doing? There's a couple of interesting. Rick Hefner said, I think you should buy a guitar equal to your skill level, but don't go so low on price that you get rubbish. No, absolutely. I think that's a really good point, Rick. Yeah. Buying commensurate to your skill level. The other thing that was it? Nelson Rodriguez. He said, I think Epiphone would be cool with robo tuners on it though, but not on my Gibson, which is an interesting point of view. Well, no, but it's an interesting point, isn't it? That maybe you can use Epiphone to be slightly a bit more modern, in inverted commas. Maybe have one or two of those things and try them out in a way that's a bit different to putting on a Gibson. I don't know. It's a very difficult area, isn't it? Because we're all blooming conservative with a small c, aren't we? About what we like in guitars and how they work and things. And seemingly you can go too far, can't you? Quite easily.
Yeah, I'll take my head off to Epiphone, and I'll be singing their praises for a while, and I'll be watching their Inspired by Gibson range over the next couple of years, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. I spoke to the guys at the local rock shop, and they were saying that their international buyers, when they went overseas to the NAM, the 2021 NAM, when they bought all these guitars, they came back at 2020 NAM. When they came back, they said to the guys at the rock shop, they said, you guys aren't going to believe the quality of these Epiphones. And like a lot of the guys, in business, they say, oh, yeah, okay, this is just nothing but sales and corporate bullshit that the boss wants us to get out,
smoke and mirrors.
to rah-rah and, get behind. But when they actually saw the quality of the guitars, they flipped out. And then obviously when we got them here in New Zealand and they were available, I'm just I just take my hat off. I'm amazed and surprised with the quality. I just can't believe that something that's $1,100 or $1,000, Simon, plays just as good as something that's $4,500, $5,000.
No, absolutely, yeah. I mean, Sonia, I take your point about it. Sonia says she doesn't know any good local luthiers. I don't know. I think it's it's one of the things you have to spend a lot of time discovering, don't you? You discover people who do good work on your guitar and kind of keep it running and stuff, and you stick with them. But yeah, it is difficult to find people. I think that to be able to do that work. I think absolutely. I think it was a better good. Yeah, see, Nelson says he honestly thinks he was a better guitar player when he just had 3. His dad's Yamaha acoustic, his first Harmony electric, and then his first Epiphone, which he loved. Yeah. It's interesting, Sonia, that's a good point as well. That thing about it turning up and it being fine, ready to play, sort of thing. I think there's, that's the issue. Always the issue is setting up a guitar so that it comes and it's playable for you out of the box. And you don't have to muck about with it. You might easily want to muck about with it just to get the way that you want to play it, as a guitar. But I think that it's one of those things where that's really important. No, Epiphone Casino. I don't know. Have they brought a new Epiphone Casino out? Andrew?
No, but I have to say, D-Tube, when I bought my Epiphone Casino about maybe 8 years ago, it came with a case, and it was about 1,700 New Zealand dollars. And I have to tell you that I was, even then, I wasn't completely technical with a lot of guitars. And it's interesting because you pick up all this information through YouTube and through the internet, which is great. But I remember picking it up and playing, and it had this rattle, and I had to spend $300 getting that guitar up and running. I took it to my luthier. He changed the nut. He had to fiddle around with the bridge. In fact, we changed the bridge. When Simon does some talking, I'll dig it out and I'll just show you. But once I got that done, it's a fantastic guitar. Yeah, just playing those Epiphones off the rack, Simon, at the local rock shop where they've got, a dozen of them. Even they've got some Flying V's, they've got Destroyers out, they've got the whole range, everything basically. SGs, the inspired by Gibson SGs, just phenomenal guitars. And I wished I had those guitars, or a choice of those guitars, 20 years ago.
Yeah. It doesn't mean you can buy an Epiphone Casino now. It's about £600 here. So, I think it's got the old headstock on it. I was just comparing the two, and it looks like to me like it's got the old headstock on it, not the new one. So my guess is that at some point they'll pull out a new. Thank you. They'll pull out a new one and make a thing of it, which would be cool. I think I think absolutely they've got Epiphone have a heritage of their own, which I think is good, and that's what they should do. Trade on that heritage.
So this is the inspired by John Lennon Epiphone Casino that I got, and you can, on the back there, you can see John Lennon. There's a little script there.
Yeah.
So, very light compared to the ES335.
It's completely hollow, that guitar, isn't it?
Completely hollow.
Yeah.
And this is the one that's inspired obviously by the one that John Lennon played in the mid '60s. So it's got the traditional Epiphone headstock, but the headstock is different from the Epiphone that Paul McCartney had, because this is the second generation Epiphone headstock. The one that Paul McCartney had, it's quite short. It's a shorter headstock. But it's true what they say about these guitars. They feed back like heck, even when you're jamming in a bedroom situation. It's a true thing. They can feed back, so you have to hold the strings or turn the volume down. Not a bad guitar, but just out of the box. And comparing it to the Fenders that I got around the same time, the classic vibes were just head and shoulders above this. And what year was this? This will give you a bit of an idea, because I can't remember.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm just having a look.
So this is 2012.
Right. Yeah. When they were just Gibson's cheap thing, weren't they? Rather than it's interesting. Yeah. Yes. I'm just having a look. I've got a picture of McCartney clearly with that headstock that goes just straight across on the top, but also playing one that's like yours as well. That's a picture.
Heck, I love it. We did a show a couple of weeks ago on Abbey Road, going through the tracks on Abbey Road, and one of the things that I loved particularly about the Abbey Road album is the Casino, going through my Vibrolux, that tone turned up loud, that warmth that you get, which is completely different from humbuckers, is just pretty close to the ear. There are some things that you have to get. if you're playing classic rock songs, Simon, you need a humbucker. If you're playing some country stuff, you need a Strat or a Tele. But certainly with the Casino and a Fender, that warmth, it's pretty good.
It's fantastic. Yeah. It's just. If I closed it. No, I haven't closed it. Yeah, so that headstock on yours has got that kind of curved in, and then the sort of, that's it. Yeah. Yes, which I think is slightly different to the Les Paul one. It's be interesting to see if they the Epiphone has gone back to much more that classic headstock. It'd be interesting to see if they do that with the Epiphones. My guess is that they've done a relaunch of the basic Epiphone stuff, and then they'll start picking out things like Casinos and doing relaunching those. But I agree. I think that Epiphone, it's really pleasing that you can get a really decent Epiphone, and it's and it plays really well, sounds really good, and the pickup's good. How does it sound? I don't know. I
just think it's phenomenal, and top marks to Gibson and Epiphone for actually listening to people, taking advantage of social media and getting it right. And if they did take a dip in margin because they've got some good components, please don't change those components. Don't. I suppose, Simon, it's a matter of fact. Maybe it might happen, once they've got their foot in the market.
Well, yeah, but the point is that, and they know, and I'm sure that Al John realizes this. That the key thing is to keep that quality going. Once you set your stall out, then actually, I think, correct me if I'm wrong about this, that you would pay an extra $100 to get a guitar that's set up right, is good quality, no flaws, got decent pickups in it. You'd pay an extra $100. I think most guitarists would, you'd pay $400 rather than $300 if you thought there was, So I think that it's not. I mean, some of it's about having things at different price points, but some of it is about, when you buy a guitar, that guitar at that, price point, what you wanted, 2 years time, you want the same Firebird to sound and be the same as the one you just bought. And that's as ever with these things, is the difficult bit, the quality bit is doing that. But I don't know, where's it made, Andrew? Is it made in China?
China, yeah. So what's interesting about the classic Vibe range is that they were made in China, Simon. Now they're made in Indonesia.
Right.
And
see, it's funny that, isn't it? Because Indonesia used to be a step up from China, didn't it? Well, that's the way I think about it. I'm not very good with these Korea, Indonesia, China, Japan. How they sort of. But I mean, clearly Japan was always at sort of top of the tree, wasn't it? Of those the Far Eastern guitar things, and Hack's done a Van Halen show, isn't he? Yeah, I've got to catch up with that. Stealing your idea.
No, that was a fantastic show. He had some guys on there doing showing how they play some Van Halen arpeggios and some scales, and fantastic show. And we say it a lot of times on the 5150 show, you can never have enough Van Halen on the internet. so top work, top marks, mate.
Yeah. Oh, well, excellent. I'll just be catching up with that, seeing what you're doing. Fantastic. That's really good. So, another. Any clues as to what the other one is, Hack? He's got another one coming.
Sonia, it's loud, so I can play this acoustically, my casino, and certainly putting the bone nut on made a big difference. I am a bone nut connoisseur, aficionado. Yeah, I think bone nuts, or the new bone, which is a high density composite, makes a big difference from just that standard plastic stuff that we've been having. And that would be one of the first things I would recommend you change on a guitar. Makes a big difference. But top marks, Simon. Top marks to Epiphone. I just I wasn't sure how they were going to do it. There were hints there that they were going to do something. And then if you jump on and check out some reviews on YouTube, because it's pretty good. You've got ordinary guys talking about it, as well as the big groups. You have to go through 50 videos first to get the ordinary guys talking about stuff, or the ordinary girl. Very impressive.
Almost inevitably.
Yeah.
Shane from In the Blues is very good about that sort of thing, isn't he? He's always reviewing. He's just done a classic vibe one, hasn't he? How it compares to the older classic vibes and stuff. I haven't watched it yet, but get overrun.
Yeah, I watched it, but I won't spoil it for you.
Yes, he dies in the end. Yes, thank you.
It's interesting that you should say that, because I cracked a joke. We did a show. Brad and I did a show with Matt from Dropkick Blues. And anyway, I told a joke on there, but I don't think it went down too well. I went to the local guitar shop, and they had a book there, in a guitar magazine, Guitar World collection of articles for Stevie Ray Vaughan. Anyway, I knew the young guy there in the shop, so I grabbed the book and I took it up to the counter, and I think I bought something else, and I'm ready to pay for it. And he says, "That's a good story, that." And I said, "Oh yeah, okay, oh yeah." It just didn't click. He goes, "Oh, he dies in the end." Look, and no disrespect.
Spoiler alert.
No disrespect to Stevie Ray Vaughan or his legacy, because we love Stevie Ray Vaughan. I do too. But I just thought, for quick-wittedness.
Yeah, that's very good, isn't it? Yeah, it's funny. Yeah. I mean, yes. Now there's a whole other stream, isn't there? The art of comedy, jokes, and taste. That's
and knowing your audience, because he knew me too, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's do you know there's a British comedian called Jimmy Carr? Yeah. Not to be confused with the Jimmy Carr that goes on Johnny Bean's show, but he deliberately, and what he loves is he'll tell you a joke, and your initial reaction is to laugh. Yeah, and then the second reaction is to gasp that you laughed at something. It's a fantastic kind of, when your brain doesn't click in and your laughter brain, you just laugh because it's funny. And then the second thought is to go, did I just laugh at that? That's terrible. That's oh dear.
I think that's what we need to do more of, though. I think we need to, have some humour. Not take things too seriously, not take the political environment too seriously. It is what it is. I don't want to let us down a political conversation, because that's one of the rules on the show. But, Simon and I often talk about this in the green room, that, politics is what it is. And, but Epiphone guitars are a great thing.
Well, it has to be said, I would say, amongst lots of other guitars in that sort of price range.
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah.
I think that they've caught up with what other guitar brands are already doing.
I think that's a good point. They've caught up. That's a good point.
That I don't know what I think it's one of the brand things you have to do, isn't it? You have to have reasonable guitars in different price points, don't they? I'm sure that the Van Halen guitars, for instance, that they have different price points, don't they?
They're still not cheap. They're not cheap, Simon. They're not cheap guitars.
No. Well, I've got an EVH Wolf. I don't know if this pretty much is new. EVH Wolfgang Standard BM in gloss black for £429, which isn't so bad. And the standard baked maple neck, £499. So they seem to have different price ranges. Johnny would know this better than me. You've reignited. Sorry, pardon for the pun. You've reignited Hack's want for a Firebird.
Look, Hack. I know you, and I know what you like about Gibsons, and I appreciate the advice and the fire that you gave me to get that over a year ago. So and having played that and my Firebird for the money, I'm going to say, Hack, go and buy one. You won't be disappointed. If you get a 2020 inspired Firebird, I'm convinced you'll be playing it for it'll be your number one guitar.
Oh, above all these Gibson, of all these Les Pauls.
Well, there's little things about the Firebird, Simon, which are remarkable. So if you're a bedroom player predominantly, and you're not going to be gigging, 90% of the guitar playing we're doing is sitting down. So the way that the Firebird sits on your lap, and it's just the ergonomics of it. I just love that. It's completely different from a Les Paul, because the Les Paul, when it sits on your knee, wants to rock back. But this here, it just wants to sit on your lap for the whole evening. It doesn't want to run away. It just wants to sit there, Simon. It's And once you've got something sitting in your lap, you're going to keep it there for a long time.
Yeah. I know what you mean. It's That's interesting about that. I was going to ask you about what it was like to play sitting down and stuff, and that's the answer. It's fine to play sitting down. Yeah. Different to. Yes, I know what you mean about Gibsons. It's kind of a bit back here, isn't it? It's all a bit moved over here a bit. Yeah. Well, I got a Gibson, but
yeah. You've hit the nail on the head.
That Gibson shape was.
Yeah, and one day I'm going to shave this beard off, and I'm going to have my ES 335. I'm going to have my Firebird. I'm going to have my Les Paul. I'm going to take my Blues Breaker, and Carl and I are going to have a kind of Eric Clapton Cream tribute band thing going. That's the plan. When all this crap is finished and over and done, and people are doing things 100%, and Carl's made all this money where he can hire us a decent PA system, and we can have Marshall stacks behind us.
Andrew, you don't need Marshall stacks. Think of your back, your poor back. Right. Don't do that. Don't do that. You get these days. You get a perfectly adequate PA that you can lift with one hand. No, really, you can. Oh, look out! Look, trouble's arrived. Mr. Brad Cook.
Hey, Brad. Hey, brother. How are you? This is probably a good opportunity for us to
retracted his message now.
Shave the beard. This is probably a good opportunity for us to promote tomorrow's video. So we'll be on about an hour. It's 7 p.m. here in New Zealand. So we'll be live. We'll be live for an hour tomorrow. So Simon's going to lead us into an introduction in Aqualung, and we're going to go through and rank the tracks. And we're not mentioning anything about that on this show. Shave the beard. No, brother.
Except I'm holding it up and I'm pointing at it.
Yeah. That's all we're saying.
That's what we're doing.
Strap the amp on the back of a Holden Ute. Firebird while Simon cranks the wheels and punches the pedal, donuts and riffs, everybody. Yeah, you got it. But Brad, I'm just sharing a video with Simon. We decided we'd go live and talk about some of our experiences with inexpensive guitars after picking up the Firebird a week ago, and just reinforces in my mind that if you're a beginner guitar player, an intermediate guitar player, or a very good guitar player like Hack, and you want a good, inexpensive guitar that's going to sort of give you some kind of vibe, there are some good guitars out there now. Yeah,
definitely. Could I say, just wandering off it, Hack's recent explosion of creativity, putting out his own songs, hats off to you. They've been really good.
Brother.
Really good with Chandra Pokorny's videos. Yeah, really enjoying those. Hack, well done.
Me too.
I'll take my hat off to you for
point.
That. It's a 10 out of 10 for me on the creativity and doing it front. So well done to you for doing it. I've really enjoyed them, and the singing one too. Singing, it's fine.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
Well, I think it's worth. So, Robot Watchers, I wouldn't describe Aqualung as being funky. Myself, that's not the first word that springs to my mind when I think of Aqualung, and I've had Aqualung for 50 years. It's the first album I ever bought. Awesome. So has a particular place in my heart. Does Aqualung? That's funny. Yes, I wouldn't. Well, I don't know. Funky, Miss Funky. No, it's probably not. Doesn't mean it like that. But I don't feel that funky is English.
So Sonia and Robot and everybody, if you guys want to join us tomorrow, Sonia, I'll send you a link to tomorrow's show so that you can share that for us, please. And Brad will be on with Simon and I, and we look forward to Simon giving us the introduction, giving us some background onto that album, and I think you guys might be surprised with some of the rankings. I think there might be some surprises there, and that will be interesting. There could be some fisticuffs between some of the co-hosts. You never know. You just
look, I've got to have really long arms to get from here to New Zealand.
You never know. There might be some debate and discussion, but as usual, we always appreciate your guys' input and opinions in the chat. And thank you for joining Simon and I talking about inexpensive guitars and just basically just hanging out. But Simon, before I pass it on to you, I just want to say well done, Epiphone. Very, very, very happy to have a 2020 inspired guitar. Certainly, just a beautiful guitar. Sounds great. Well done, Epiphone.
Yeah. Well, yes, clearly you get somebody in the right who knows. Has known a thing or two, and Sonia's bringing opinions. Are you, Sonia?
and well done, Epiphone, for watching our program over a year ago and taking Simon and my advice about what you needed to do with the Epiphone brand too. Thank you.
We're available for a large fee to come and advise you on.
Oh yeah. Look, that's a good point too. Thank you, Brad. So, so guys, please, if you haven't shared our channel with your friends, please do. Just go to the channel on YouTube where it says share. Cut that and go onto your Facebook and on your Instagram and just paste it and say, check these guys out. They're okay. They're average. They're just, they're desperate for viewers. They're really, really desperate. They could do with anything, any crumb of support,
Crumbs.
hit that subscribe button.
Right. There you are. See, so Robot Master Switch says the product manager Aljon has mentioned more colours next year.
Wow.
Brad has come over all stalkerish, and I'm watching you. He says, "Okay, Brad." Fortunately, he's in Melbourne. Oh dear, that's funny. Yeah. So yes, Aqualung tomorrow, Epiphone today, and I'm pleased you know that's really that it's always really nice when you get a new guitar, and it's really good. That's fantastic.
Yeah. But I just wanted to hark back though, to the show that we had, and I just want to give you, the recognition that that's due, because I think you pulled it out of the hat when you said that for them to move forward, for them and look, I'm going to go through and I'll find that show and I'll put a card up on this show, because if anyone's watching this show in 5 years' time, they'll want to know what that video is. So I'll put a card here, but I'm sure I'm sure Simon said the first thing that they need to do is start with Epiphone.
Yeah, reposition it, get Epiphone together, reposition it, and that's not a particularly clever thing, I'm sure, but to say that, and also have it's that the thing about guitar companies, an understanding of your audience, of your buyer. What does your it's fine to go off in directions, but as Gibson have found, particularly, that as a heritage brand, and Epiphone is saying, that they have a heritage identity, which means that too much messing about on the modern side of things, your audience is not going to like. Heck, Mr. Les Paul doesn't want robo tuners and doesn't want, he wants like the trad. He buys what if you just bought an R9? Do you just buy an R9 guitar?
He doesn't want drop-in pickups. Solderless, push-pull.
No, he doesn't want any of that. No, he doesn't want push-pull, single coil, split coil, whatever. He doesn't want any of that. I want a Les Paul. I want it properly built, beautifully made, quality right up there, and, and they'll seriously, pay the money for it. And, and I think that, you've got to accept, haven't you? There's a lot of things that there are things that are modern, like, I don't know, Ibanez, let's say, just picking a name out of thing. Ibanez, there's a bit more modern, it's a bit more kind of, edgy, and you can get away with more things. But there are things that are, those heritage brands, and if you're managing a heritage brand, the first thing to manage is the heritage. If that's not too dumb a thing to say, manage the heritage and manage the that image, carefully. Which is why, I think that in spite of their legal madness, getting JC in to manage Gibson from having managed Levi's, which is clearly another heritage brand, is a clever move on behalf of the people who own that. Look at that.
I'll send it to you, Brad. I'll swap this for one of your Marshalls.
Oh
no,
I don't think that's a deal. Is that a deal?
Someone's going to get ripped off.
Okay, 7 over 8, woken up. Hey Jay, how you doing? Hope you're good. Hope those kids aren't keeping you up too much.
Hey Jay, thank you for the shout out, Jay, too, the other day. On the Johnny Bean show, Kurt pointed it out to me, so no, appreciate that. And I did take you guys' advice, so I've got rid of Fender Guru, so my channel's just called now the British Electric Blues Show. So anybody who knows, so if anybody knows,
risen up in the alphabetical list. Where's he gone?
So. Appreciate the advice, and that's one of the great things that I love about our community. we do take advice. We do learn from each other. We are picking up. We're passionate about music. We're passionate about the bands that we follow. It's a pleasure to hang out with Simon and Brad, and it's a pleasure to have Kurt 5150
Kurt
on.
as well, yeah. Fantastic, yeah.
It's a pleasure to spend time with these guys. And of course, everybody in the chat, where would we be without Sonia and Robot,
Yes.
and Nelson
and Arvin.
and Arvin,
Great Ranzini, Kubrick lover.
You guys know all who you are, and Simon and I and Brad never take your participation for granted.
No, look at this. I'm going to show you something. Look, this is what I got for Christmas.
Oh wow,
You seen this
that's
book?
a good year. That's a good year. I know somebody was born that year.
Not me. I was 8. But this is, my keenness on setting things in a context, a kind of social context.
That was the
Stuff,
was the era. That was the year.
This is a book that has a kind of that delves into that social context of 1966, and looks from the eyes of music. But so a good year, Hack, if it's your birth year as well. You and Andrew are the same. Yeah, really, really interesting. I'm just getting into it, but really good. Yes, so just a little, just a little tome. But,
okay, so you got a week to read that, and next week we're doing a lit review on that book.
Thank you.
Okay?
Yes.
All right.
This time next week. Yes, thank you.
This time
Thank you
next
very
Saturday,
much.
Simon's going to give us a review on that book, everybody.
Yeah, so it's only 600 pages I've got to read. Thanks. Look at that. Look, that. I can't see this very well, but that's the book, and that I think. Can you see that? Look, that's the discography.
I was going to say that's the conclusion.
About a quarter of the book. Fortunately, it's it's got February '66. It's just got loads.
Wow.
It's got loads of 90th Nervous Breakdown, the Rolling Stones, February 1966. There we are. So that's really interesting, and I've got that for Christmas. So but it is that kind of trying to put a social context around what was D-Tube was 5, I was 8 D-Tube. So it's it's really cool. It's really, really interesting for me. Maybe there's some nuggets I can pull out.
I think Robots hit the nail on the head. Musicians tend to have similar passions. Yeah. I agree. I love hanging out and checking out some YouTube channels that I love, and spending time with Simon and Brad and you guys. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. We are special, and you got to read it now.
Jay says, "Read it now." What, you read out loud?
Okay. Well, Sonia's going a little bit light on you. She's saying,
read
it by tomorrow.
Yes, thank you, Sonia. Get my Jethro Tull Aqualung show together. I've got 3 files of notes. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Awesome.
Oh, dear.
All right, look,
I tell you, we could be here for weeks doing Aqualung. Williams is dragging us down the pit holes of hell.
Now that's one show. That's one show, Simon.
Yes, Andrew.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm only committing to not how long it is. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
I'm committing to one show. Not necessarily how long it. Not an hour. Okay. I'm not committed to an hour. I may not have got started in an hour. That's what normally happens.
Awesome.
Yeah. And could we say, Jay, hats off to you, mate, and the Gizmachi singles. Really cool.
Well done.
Hats off to you. All that creativity is fantastic. It's really good to see this community. I've mentioned Hack earlier, producing original music. I know Johnny does quite a lot of original music, but you getting the band back together and putting stuff out is fantastic. A satellite
Robot
radio
Master
button.
Switches. Just put it in the link there.
So well done, Jane. That's fantastic. So hats off to you for that. I'm 10 out of 10 on the just purely on people being creative, writing original stuff is really important, and should be lauded,
Well,
absolutely.
one day Jay might be sitting next to me here in Hamilton, New Zealand, when him and his wife and his family have finally got their stuff sorted, and they're living here in New Zealand. So yeah. He's been talking about it for a few years. He's got a plan, and it involves his wife. So
Jay's got a plan to move to New Zealand.
Yeah, he's got a plan.
He's in for a surprise. Although maybe was it North Carolina's not so different from New Zealand? I don't know.
Oh, well, look, I'm not going to say anything disparaging about the United States of America, but I'm a proud patriot and I love my country. And if anybody wants to come here and live and contribute to a wonderful way of life, yes, see, he's
yes. We've seen your pictures of the beach, Dr. Walton. Yes, more beach, more surfing, more. Yeah. Many holidays. See, Raglan Beach, where Andrew's secretly building a house, I think.
All right.
That's what he wants. That's what he wants the YouTube to fund. His villa. Raglan. Secret funding of my villa in Raglan, retirement villa in Raglan. Yes.
Mate, to build over there, I'd have to do a lot of illegal things that
really?
Probably
I'm sure you're not
probably a man my age shouldn't be doing anymore. Yeah. So we can forget about that.
Forget about that. Is it a bit of a conservation area? Is it you can't not allowed to build there really?
Oh no, it's like a lot of places. Auckland's not far from Raglan, and Aucklanders are coming down there, and property development and property prices here. It's just booming. It's just
big city
off the
boys.
Chart.
Yeah.
Off the chart.
Finding somewhere close to the city, but not in it, and a bit more country, bit more seaside, bit more. Yeah. He's got off you go, Jay. Jay's got many questions about living in New Zealand. We could do that, didn't we? Emigration to New Zealand? Ask an expert.
Thank you, Brad. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Brad.
If you guys haven't already checked out, if you look on the bottom there, no, what's going on the bottom? Nothing's going on the bottom. Hold on. If you guys have a look at that one there.
Oh.
Yeah, so check out Brad Cook.
Yeah.
Brad-cook.com. And there he is on Instagram. So check Brad out there. He's very active on Instagram. And you can keep updated with the channel. I'm there. There I am there, but I've got that long, funny Brit electric blues show.
Yeah.
But probably easier for you guys to find that one at Brad Cook Music.
It's such fun to type in on an iPad. That is at British_.
Yeah.
It's about 5 minutes typing. Yeah. Finger ends up like that.
Unfortunately, I couldn't do that all in one word. Instagram wouldn't allow me. They've got one of those weird things where you got to have hyphens and dots and.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, things. I don't know. Must be some naming convention, but yes. For the rest of us, that's really annoying, isn't it? You just want to put British Electric Blue Show. Thank you very much. Yeah. Or something. Did it not? Were you not able to put it in all as one word kind of thing? Was it allowing all in one word?
Yeah.
I know. I saw that. Yeah. Moved back to New Zealand. Yeah. I guess there's a distance culturally between the two. But Florida and Texas are booming here. See, people are moving to the sunshine, and so that it's in these current difficult times. I mean, I'm very lucky. I live in the country. I live on the edge of a village, so I can go out and wander around and not really see anybody, and it's beautiful, green and verdant. Rainy. But So I'm pleased. I really feel as I don't live in the city anymore.
No problem. All right,
Brad,
look,
no
guys,
worries, mate. It's great.
I got to split. Simon's going to
All
say
original
goodbye.
music should be applauded and promoted, because hats off to you guys for doing it, having the the wherewithal and the creativity to do it. I think it's fantastic.
That's correct.
Alien weaponry. They sing in Maori metal.
That's correct.
That's an interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I went and saw them 3 years ago at the Altitude Bar here in Hamilton, and man, I could only handle 4 songs. It was just
Wow.
Oh, it was too loud. Yeah, me and my 4 friends had to sit and listen to the rest of the gig outside.
If it's too loud, you're too old. Yes.
Well, yeah. All right, mate. You want to sign off for us?
Lovely. Well, thank you very much all for joining in this jolly just hanging out stuff. Hopefully tomorrow morning we'll be doing my time. We'll be doing Aqualung and and stuff. So come and join us if you're interested in that. And let's see where we are. So thanks to get up the top. So we had Nelson first in. Thanks, Nelson, for joining. And Johnny B, nice to see you, Johnny. Hope you're good. DTube, Charlie S as well. Thanks, Charlie, for Sonia, of course. Thanks, Sonia, for being our moderator and doing that really well. Robot Master Switch and Rick Hefner. Thanks, guys, for joining. Stay safe and well out there in the big wide world. Guitar Hack. Hope you're good. Catching up on your shows later. Really good. Everybody's pumping it out, which is fantastic. 708, Jay. Thanks for joining, Jay. Nice to see you. Good luck with the singles. Brad, as well. I'll see you tomorrow. Mr. Cook. for another fling into the modern world, or 1971. So thanks everyone for joining. It's fantastic to see you, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Better. Bye.